Am I the asshole for canceling our gender reveal party because I know my husband will be unhappy and possibly leave? My 37 female, husband 43 male, and I have a son 9 together. I'm currently pregnant with our second child. My husband and I have already booked the venue for the gender reveal. We'll lose the photographer's deposit and what we spent on decorations. However, my husband is more concerned about the reputation effect as he grew up affluent, has a very high-paying job, and also a stake in a family business. However, I can tell that despite us already having a boy who he absolutely adores, they can do no wrong in each other's eyes. My son has always had every toy, fun activity, best clothes gifted to him by his dad. He desperately wants our second child, who he expects to be our last, to be a boy. I went into planning this gender reveal, rationalizing that gender disappointment is okay. But I've come to realize that there is wishing you're having a son, and then there's fixating on not having a daughter, even more than wanting another son. My husband falls into the second category. Red flag. Red banner, red sheet, red quilt, red comforter. Red. We didn't do a gender reveal for our firstborn because my husband kept putting off whether or not he wanted to hear it from a doctor and when. We ended up learning, with him being ecstatic about it, having a son less than a month before giving birth. It's not all his fault. He grew up with an older dad who was always controlling towards his mother. Their town at the time was essentially a company town. His dad threatened her family's jobs. Plus, he made it impossible for her to go about her day without seeing him until she agreed to be with him. And you married into this family? Ma'am! My husband also pursued me pretty aggressively. And we had tension over how I at times felt uneasy around him. And you married him. You married him. I could not marry anybody that made any of my red flags, my sensors, made my fucking feelers fucking get, no, I could not have married somebody that at any point in time made me, quote unquote, uneasy. We've been to therapy about this, so that makes it okay. Our marriage has been strained because I was done with him not understanding why my body was still not 100% 3 months after giving birth. He would counter by saying I turned down intimacy the day after giving birth. Oh, girl, I'm so mad for you. I gotta laugh. But what the fuck? Oh, girl, your husband's red flags are so red. He has triggered my insane. What the fuck? No. Our marriage has been strained because I was done with him not understanding why my body was still not 100% 3 months after giving birth. He would counter by saying, I turned down intimacy the day after giving birth. But that was him showing he was attracted to me post-baby. Can I just want to talk to your husband. Don't worry, I'll drop him off at the hospital. At home. I just want to just take him out and just talk to him. I just want to talk to him. Just a little bit. Girl, OP, what is your vision? You got 20/20 vision? Because you must be blind as a fucking bat. Because girl, this man's not even hiding his red flags. He's using them to lure you in and you're falling for that shit. Hook, line, and goddamn sinker. Ma'am, he essentially stalked you until you agreed to be with him and you married him and are having his children. He is obsessed with having boys so he can continue this fucking line of goddamn toxicity and you are allowing it. Ooh. Baby girl, what the fuck? What the fuck? My husband's demons are back. We got to a point where he said fine to me going alone to hear the baby's gender without telling him. And I found out that we're having a girl. I guess I don't have a good poker face by his negative reaction after I got home. He's arguing he doesn't know the baby's gender because I didn't explicitly tell him. Okay. But 100% he does know. I'd be fine with the gender reveal where the guests are the ones being surprised, but it's in a week, and with each day, my husband grows more withdrawn. He's not the type who can fake happiness, and he often tries to leave and pull me away with him when he's really upset. I decided to pull the plug. Again, he's not mad about the money, yet he's angry that we're doing this to our family and friends and what this may say about him. I put my foot down. Am I the asshole? No, you're not the asshole for pulling the plug on your gender reveal. However, I truly think that is the least of your goddamn worries, the least of your issues. I do not know this man, and I am terrified to be around him. I am terrified for my future children to come across any of his fucking children. I fear for the young lady that ends up with your son if you do not stop this now. Like, I don't even understand. Like, girl, I'm afraid for you. This man is a character straight out of the books that I have read that have a list of fucking trigger warnings before you even get to the first chapter. I'm going to be like y'all. Today, I am convinced this story is not real. I'm going to convince myself that this story is not real because the thought that it is makes me so fearful for her. Because this man is literally a walking red flag, raised by a toxic walking red flag. And she has been taught to think this shit is okay. I cannot. Y'all, I have no more words. I don't know. This story has stunned me into fucking silence. I'm going to read the top comment. This guy sounds like a freaking serial unaliver. He threw you turning down intimacy the day after giving birth in your face. Really? He can't understand and respect your boundaries and feelings because he's so attracted to you. You had to go to therapy because he essentially stalked you until you married him. Not cheating is like an unspoken requirement for marriage, not part of a personality. Just reading this post has me terrified of your husband. Why the hell are you with him, let alone having his children? You guys know what this makes me think of? This post makes me think of that episode on Criminal Minds. And it was like a couple and a young boy would unalive a young girl's parents. They would choose a girl, unalive her parents, and then take her and then raise her up to be his wife. She would then have kids, and then they would literally do the exact same thing to get a wife for their son. Like, that's exactly what this makes me think of, because this man, essentially, his father threatened the jobs of his wife's family until she got with him. This man stalked his wife until she got with him. Now he's obsessed with having boys, and I know 100% he's going to raise them and teach them to do the same goddamn thing. Am I the asshole for not letting my sister move in with me? My dad remarried only 1 year after my mom and him got a divorce. The new woman, let's call her Brittany for the sake of the story. She kind of always forces me to call her mom, and I just told her that she's not my mother and she's only my dad's wife. She never brought it up again. It's not like she doesn't have any kids of her own. Brittany has a daughter who was in a different state for college when they got married. I've never met her. I only knew her name. My dad invited me over for dinner to meet her once she got back. She's like a few years older than me. We'll call her Stella. Dinner was okay-ish. I kept to myself, mostly since I really didn't know how to initiate conversation with them. So yeah, Stella and I barely spoke to each other. Surprisingly though, a few days later, I got a call from Brittany. She told me that Stella wanted to move out and find herself an apartment. I thought she was asking me to help Stella look for apartments. Before I could even say that I was happy to help, Brittany asked if Stella could move in with me. No, this is a fucking stranger. I've met her one time. And you expect me to let this random move into my house? Hell no. No. Sorry, Brittany, but not sorry. No, Stella can't come here. In any other circumstances, I would have agreed. You're better than me. I don't give a fuck about the circumstances. I don't know this woman. No random will ever move into my house. No, you better than me. My fiance is going to be moving in with me soon, and my apartment only has 2 rooms. The second one is going to be turned into a nursery. I told Brittany that I would help Stella find an apartment, but moving in with me would be difficult. This started a huge drama. Brittany involved my dad, and my dad said, "Don't be selfish. You have 2 rooms. Give one to Stella." I think the only reason Stella was so adamant on moving in with me is to avoid rent. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You're not going to move into my house and live here rent-free. Bitch, I don't get to live in my house rent free. So anyone else that comes to sleep on a couch, a cot, a corner, you got to pay something to stay here too. I think the only reason Stella was so adamant on moving in with me is to avoid paying rent. Mostly because she's shying away from 30 and still unemployed. But honestly, I can't accommodate someone else. Stella is almost 30 and unemployed. So how is she wanting to move out? Does this college attendee know that in order for one to move out, one must have employment? I told Brittany and my dad that my fiance and I were planning to start a family. Brittany said, so what? 3 of you can fit in a room. Bitch! So you want me to inconvenience myself, my fiance, as well as my future child, so your child can live in my house rent-free? No, that's not how that works. This is my house. I'm going to spread the fuck out in my house. I'm not just going to be cooped up in one room so your daughter can have a room. When both of her parents, her stepdad and her mom, clearly have a home. Stella needs to move in with y'all until she get on her fucking feet. You don't get to have me all bunched up in one room with my fiance and a baby so this bitch can have some freedom. No, she's almost 30. Stella, if you want to move out, baby girl, you need to work for it. You need to get a job and not expect to go stay with other motherfuckers for free and have them inconvenienced. I told them how my fiance and I were planning to start a baby. Brittany said, so what? The 3 of you can fit in one room. Actually, no. With the dresser, bed, and wardrobe, we can't accommodate a crib in there. Last straw was when my dad said, you don't do that to your sister. She's family. I snapped. No, she's not my sister. And Brittany is not my mother. No matter how much you try to force it on me is what I told them. I told them to their faces. I don't know why they got offended after hearing the truth, but they were all offended. I'll miss my dad, especially since he's now cut contact with me. The last message he sent was, I can't believe a selfish, spoiled brat was a product of me. No, baby, you're not the asshole. You do not have to accommodate anybody, let alone someone that you've never really had a conversation with and you don't even fucking know. You just knew this girl's name for the entire year that her mom and your dad were married. You are not obligated to accommodate this girl on a goddamn fucking thing. Absolutely not. You're not the asshole. You do not owe anybody accommodations. You owe no one accommodations. This is your apartment in your name that you pay for every month. You do not have to allow someone to come and stay in your house if you do not want them there. Let alone some random that you've only been in a room with one time and ate dinner around. You've never even had an entire conversation with each other. You only knew of her name for the entire time that you guys as parents were married. This girl is essentially a stranger to you. You know nothing about her. What if she's nasty? What if she doesn't clean up? What if she comes with like 3 cats and a dog and a fucking bird or some shit? What if she's just a thief? What if she's a great person, but you just don't want to share your fucking house? You're entitled to say no. I mean, it's clear as day, at least to me, that the reason that stepmom and your dad are pushing so hard for Stella to move in with you is because they know that she's 30 years old and she's unemployed and they doubt girlfriend is going to be getting a job anytime soon. So instead of her mooching off of them, they want to push her onto you so she can mooch off of you. And no, we're not allowing that shit to happen. It's 20 fucking 24. We're not allowing that shit to happen anymore at all.